Hello everyone, it is me, Connor here from VoxPop Games, and today I am bringing you just a little cut down version of a stream I did recently with Brandon from Salt and Pixel Games. If you're unfamiliar with Brandon, he's made a bunch of games that are on the VoxPop stores, such as Cult and Hollow's Pixels Eve, and he is currently working on Outer Terror. We played through his game Cults together and went over his inspiration for mechanics and themes. It was a really interesting stream and I got to learn a lot about him and the game, so I hope that you'll find it interesting too. And while I still have you here, don't forget to like and subscribe as it really helps us out. Alright, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Enjoy the video. Hello world, it is me, Connor here from VoxPop Games, you know how it is, and I'm here with the wonderful Brandon from Salt and Pixel. Do you want to introduce yourself at all, or?
Yeah, well, I'm Brandon from Salt and Pixel. I'm a developer. Made Cult here, what we're looking at. I've worked on. What else do you guys got in mind? It's Crush. Worked on Crush. Do a bunch of Game Boy development.
That's cool.
I'm an artist. Do all kinds of stuff in the industry. So it really depends on what day you catch me.
Crush. I haven't played Crush, I don't think. Oh yeah, and Pixo's Hollow's Eve. I forgot about that one.
All about that. And of course, Outer Terror, which was recently announced a couple days ago.
Woo!
Collaboration with you guys.
Yes, sir. I've been playing it all day, actually. Alright, I think we're ready to start. So, do you want to talk about maybe like your inspiration for this game,
man, cool.
where the idea came from?
See, this game's funny because this game is an experimental game for me. So what that would mean is I was wanting to try out some new mechanics, like just learning how to code some things, like some mechanics based on board games.
Right.
So basically, it's obviously a board game, video game. But this was the game I decided to do to learn at least a little bit of those systems. So like building card systems, like spawning the tiles,
Right.
auto generation. Like there's a lot of stuff I use this game to learn on. The game is based off a board game I like to play called Level 8. I think it's called Level 8, and it's basically a tile-based surviving game where you, just like in this one, you move to a room and whatever is in the room you have to deal with. That was the theme of the game, and so that game is based off of this gameplay mechanic of fear, and so I wanted to play on that. I thought that was really cool. So that's what that left bar is on the
Right.
screen, is the fear bar, which affects your character's abilities or stats. The game itself, I wanted it was a little personal because this is funny because I used to be a part of a cult, and so this game,
Oh shit.
in a way, yeah, it was a way for me to process some of those things. So like the satanic imagery, like all of the demons and all that stuff, was me not like being like, let's say I'm not like a devil worshiper or anything like that. I'm not like into it, but it was a way for me to confront those things outside of, put it this way, outside of indoctrination.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Some of those like pictures of the devil are used as a demon here, swallowing people. I was sitting when I was making the game, I was like, man, this is like really intense. Some of the stuff. Why am I afraid of it? And that's where a lot of the themes of this game come from. It was really just me wanting to confront those things. Are they really scary because they're real, or are they scary because I was taught they're real? I know it's probably way more in depth for a game design conversation, but that's where cult kind of comes from.
No, I mean, I did not know that. I think that's really interesting, actually. I've never met someone who's in a cult, so that's cool. I mess with it. That's interesting, though. I would love to, like, pick your brain about being in a cult. I don't know if you want to, like, talk about it or not. Like, you totally don't have to.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm open book.
But what was that like?
So it wasn't it wasn't like one of those. It wasn't like a weird Christian sex cult or anything like that.
Right.
Well, I guess it's questionable because if you go look up the organization, there's all kinds of shady stuff that happened in it. But as for me, though, being a part of it, it was really more of just me being controlled by somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, if that's I don't know if you can really explain that, but it's like living in a prison where, even though I don't know, it wasn't like living. That's actually wrong. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I had the freedom to go and do whatever I wanted to do. Yeah, marriage. How do I explain it? Like, I was pigeonholed into being a particular person. Like, I was
Uh-huh.
seen as a particular person, and I could never break out of that, no matter what I did. Because in the eyes of my leadership, who I was under, they basically were the gatekeeper to whatever success I would do or would have. That's probably the best way I could explain it. At least that's what it felt like whenever I like think back at it.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, I think for like 5 years of my life, I didn't do anything or go anywhere. I just like served in this house of prayer, and I gave my skills to this place, and I was scared to leave. It was really hard to leave. It's hard to leave a comfort zone.
Exactly.
Eventually, there's a lot of things that happens. You can go listen to probably any ex-Christian or ex-religious person, and they would probably get the same story about why they left. But a lot of the reason why I left was because I finally, one, recognized that a lot of us were just untrustworthy. A lot of weird stuff happened. But
Yeah.
then, but also just the pain in my life from being a part of it just didn't make sense.
Uh-huh.
So, depression, suicide, like I know Jesus, you know what I mean? Like I'm a child of God. Like I have all this access. I have access to this God that's supposed to give me everything, peace beyond understanding, right? But I don't have that.
Right.
I don't get that, and I always constantly feel like there's something wrong with me, or along those lines. It's like maybe it is my fault, maybe it's not my fault. So, but I had to eventually just give it all up. Like I just had to like let it go, you know. I think for like the majority of the time I was there, I think I made less than 10K a month, like a year,
Oh, Jesus.
being a part of it. Yeah, I was like homeless, barely like just scraping by on faith, you know. Cause I
Right.
did it, but like no one's, I'm not gonna let anybody give me crap on it because I definitely tried.
Yeah.
Like I gave my best. Um, one, one of the ways that helped me get out was I am getting a job
Oh,
with
shit.
another Christian dude, who was like who like basically recognized like what was happening, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "I'm gonna give you a job so I can help you out," and he helped me get out. Eventually, it took me a while. It took me like good 10 years to finally like walk away,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was difficult. It's probably why this game is so difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm struggling a little. I'm struggling a little bit. But this game kind of. I'm a big like tabletop gamer. So this game kind of reminded me, like a little bit of like, just like the tile layout. Immediately, I thought of like Betrayal.
Hmm.
Uh, but also like the rolling for like the stat checks remind me a lot of Arkham Horror. I don't know if you've ever played that.
Yeah, I think I own that game
Yeah.
or a board game. I'm not sure if it's here though. I think it's in storage.
So
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things I could probably redo about this game because there's a lot of extra information that's displayed in this game because I like that stuff. Like I like having a ton of stuff in front of me with a board game.
right.
Probably not needed for a video game board game. I was recently thinking about this game, thinking about doing a tabletop version of it, like just printing it out, like because the rules are all there, just in you know
Yeah, for sure.
tiles. So I wanted to. If we're talking about the story, I do want. I do like touching on classical themes of horror. So, like the Virgin being sacrificed to the demons. The terminology behind that. Like I tend to enjoy that a lot more than modern horror themes. Uh, so like Dante's Inferno. um, Catholic kind of demonology on the demons and what it means. Because the thing about like my whole message in this game is that the demons consume you, you know, or like the godly like because that's how I felt, right? I felt like I was just being constantly eaten alive, or exploited by the people over me, and that's kind of what this that's kind of like one of the themes of the devil in that sense is that's what they do. He just consumes you and just keeps consuming you, and that's all you are. Um, so that's kind of the theme here being explored, I think, a little bit. But
I'm certainly getting a bit consumed right now. Do I have to peek to find the exit, or can I run into it?
no, you have to peek to find it.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
I've been doing this wrong this whole time.
Yeah. Well, what the peek does is that, as far as gameplay wise, it makes you waste a turn.
Mm-hmm.
So so it just adds a little pressure onto you because you're being chased, right?
Right.
So to find the exit, you got to peek through a door to make sure it's the exit, but you lose a turn, and they keep coming after you. So you got to get a good distance away.
Which one of these levels would you say was like your favorite to develop? Do any of them speak to you in particular?
Well, they're all generally the same. I think it's either you peek or you find a key, right? And then some
Mm-hmm.
of them just get to the exit. For me, the level design, because the level design is so basic for this, is and automated, because a lot of the things that happen are just dependent upon the room you enter.
Right.
So it's kind of like my hands were kind of like up in the air about the level design because I'm just at the game's will.
Yeah.
So it was really more like training it to make sure it did everything I wanted to do, at least at some point. Really, the enjoyment of making games is actually probably just this problem solving. That's what is probably the most enjoyable. At least that's what's enjoyable about this one because it was, like how do I get this tile to show up? Like the walls, for instance, like trying to like coding, like creating the code so that those walls appear like only on certain sides of a tile for each tile.
Yeah.
And making sure that you don't like get some weird dead end or you can't keep moving. Like there's some of those bugs. I think some of those bugs may exist somewhere still, but I think I've squashed the majority of them. But like trying to figure out that, you know, um,
Yeah, there's like a
that's
lot of little things that can really like I don't know. There's like a bunch of things in game design or game development that you like, don't expect to be difficult or troublesome, and then they kick you in the ass, and you're like, "What just happened?" Like, I remember last year for our like game capstone at school, our professor was like, "However much time you think it's gonna like take you to create like your camera and like get it working, just double it." Because it's not gonna be as easy as you think it is. And he was absolutely right. It took us forever to get that thing like working.
yeah, yeah. You always want to. It's a good rule of thumb to double, like times two, whatever time you think. You get better at it like as you go,
Yeah,
you know. But like you start to understand like what you can code and what you want, and then the next, you can get your camera all perfect and everything, but somebody's still going to find something wrong about it. Someone's going to leave a comment. Somebody's going to crawl out from under their rock,
yeah,
and be like, "Oh, this shakes too much," or it reminds me of like Flambear, or it's something. They'll find something, you know, to like. They love looking like gamers love looking for the Achilles heel in anything. It's
yeah,
like a weird.
yeah. I really like the problem solving aspects of like design because it's kind of like a game in of itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's much more enjoyable. Um, because because video games were always a hobby of mine. Like that's what for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Um, it was like going back to the cult thing. It was like my little secret thing I did, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like I didn't tell anybody that I'd made games, and because I knew if I did, they would just kill it, you know?
Uh-huh.
Because they had already killed my music career by being a part of it. So I kept it as a little secret, and then because I was just I remember like thinking one day, man, like I play a lot of games, a lot of video games, and I just didn't like it. Like I didn't like how I felt. I felt like I needed to put a little more purpose into it. So I started to learn, and then that really like it's like something else, you know.
For sure. So,
But
like, when you started learning game development, oh shit. Sorry, I'm in a dead end and there's a lot of enemies. How familiar were you with like coding and like art asset creation?
all right. Well, what for code? I did have a background in web design. So just before I explain why I work in Construct. Yeah. So there's a moment there where I was like kind of just learning, HTML5 and all that, CSS, kind of from a book I bought. And I had been doing graphic design a little bit too, because when I was in music school, they taught us Photoshop. So I was just like looking for ways to just make some money, you know. So I was
Yeah.
learning those things. But when I went into game development, well, the reason why I went into game development was because I was thinking like, or at least what got me started, I was thinking like, you know what, maybe I can make some web games, like maybe that might boost my portfolio a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And so I found Construct, and I thought that was kind of easy to use and great, and I bought it and I tried it for like a week, and then I stopped. You know, I like didn't work. It was too hard. But I was still interested in it, and eventually I don't know when or why, but eventually I started just actually committed myself to learning it, and I thought, if I'm going to go into this, as far as like I wasn't very knowledgeable in like other code languages, and I'm definitely not able to go to school for this, so maybe I'll take a game design approach, like focus purely on like how to design games, and that was like my focus. Um, and so yeah, I kind of just got better at it by doing it, just practicing basically.
Yeah. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
Don't they say that you need to do something for like 70,000 hours to like master it or some shit? Or like
Hmm.
it might be
Yeah, I
higher,
just
it
made a
might be
bunch of
lower. I
games.
don't know what the number is.
Just made a
What
ton of bad games.
what is your favorite horror or real world horror trope? Mark
Trope.
asks. Yeah. This guy's got
You know what?
8 health.
Oh yeah. Are you fighting demons? Or no? Oh yeah. You probably got to kill a cult leader,
Yeah.
something like that. I like mystery in my horror. I think one of my favorite horror movies is actually an alien movie. Not Aliens the movie, but a movie about alien abduction. Fire in the Sky. You know. And what I like about that movie, and what I like
Oh.
about the setting, is that you don't really know if it's real or not. Like it's believable in a sense. I guess you could say the same for like Blair Witch. You know, like even though it's
Yeah.
not, even though the filmmakers will tell you, oh yeah, it's definitely fake. Just the way the movie trope is, it's kind of real. You know.
Yeah.
And so that's what I like.
Oh. I got. I didn't make it out.
Didn't make it out.
Um but yeah, that's about our time. Do you have anything else that you want to mention?
Uh, no, I mean, unless you this is your show, bro.
I got nothing.